Anna Werner joins us in studio with more. So, Anna, there are dozens of people trying to claim that they are Prince's child, but as you reported, only one claim is being investigated by a private firm. If Prince has a child, how might that change things?
Well, it would change things a lot for those siblings and half-siblings because they would get nothing if there is a child. By law, under Minnesota law, since if there is no will, those are the rules that everybody's going to have to play by, is what does state law say? For someone who dies without a will, the children or a child would get everything. Now, we should make clear that the firm that was telling us this, called Heirs Hunter International out of Los Angeles, says that they've had hundreds of calls. They're really only seriously looking into one claim, a man in his 30s who claims to be Prince's son. But if DNA, for example, were to hypothetically prove that someone was Prince's child, then essentially they would get everything under the law as it stands.
As you reported, Prince kept dozens of songs or more that he never released inside his vault. Who will have control over what is released and when?
That's a really good question, because at some point his assets, his estate, whatever's in the vault, would have to pass to someone. Now the question is, if the siblings get the money, do they divide everything up, sell everything, and then divide the money? Because remember that whatever the estate is valued at, the IRS is then going to say, okay, well, if you're passing this on, you have to pay taxes on what you receive as inheritance. So that would be a huge tax bill. Most people couldn't afford that. So you would have to sell the asset potentially to then pay the tax man. And who does it get sold to? Right? We've seen catalogs from musicians, the Beatles, other people, be sold to various interests. And what do they do with them? Presumably somebody who wants to get their hands on whatever's in there, assuming it's good.
Yeah. Well, let's say they found a will inside the vault. Would that essentially settle all this?
Well, settle all of this is kind of a big question. But if he had a will that laid out what he really wanted to happen to his money, of course, if the will was ruled appropriate and real and everything in the courts make sure that everything's okay with it, and there could be a fight over the will. But once things were resolved, if the judge thought that the will was appropriate and there was nothing wrong with it and nobody had a claim that could argue against the will, then conceivably they would follow whatever his wishes would be. Right now, they haven't found a will. Nobody knows what Prince would have wanted, and that is really unfortunate for anybody who dies without a will.
Absolutely, a lot of unanswered questions. All right, Anna Werner, thanks so much.